Get into the trenches, dig into your purpose, and fire up your life fulfillment. The Ambitious Vet Podcast starts now.
What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Chris Hoffman here, your host of the Ambitious Vet Show. And today's a special episode. What do I mean by that? Well, you get me for the remainder part of this episode, but also we're here to celebrate a huge milestone of hitting 200 episodes. Hoorah, right? And just to remind you, we started to start the episode 101 in September of 2020. So we've been trying to hit this benchmark for the past 2 years, Ambitious Vet. So that's a lot of weekly episodes, if not bi-weekly. We've tried to push those out on a weekly or at least bi-weekly basis to stay consistent as we try to, build a better relationship with you, the listener, on a weekly basis. And for those of you, the guys that listen to this, if you're listening to this right now, that have left a rating, a review on any of your listener apps, just thank you for doing that. And if you have been listening for the past 2 years, thank you for doing that as well. I just want you to think, what have you learned over the past 2 years, right? What have you learned from this show? What have you learned in life? And also, maybe there's a guest on this show that you've reached out and connected to and actually started creating a solid relationship, personal or professional relationship with. And if you did, I acknowledge you for doing that, because we try to make sure we're posting all personal emails and LinkedIn profiles in each and every show note of every episode. So if you're not doing that, I encourage you to continue to do that as we move forward. But damn, 2 years to take on another 100 episodes, and we finally hit it, Ambitious Vet. I hope that you've been getting a lot of value over the past 2 years. I'm just kind of reflecting on my life over the past 2 years. We went from renting a home in Dallas, Texas, to now buying a home out in the middle of the sticks of North Dallas, and I love it. Love the quietness. To actually just having a new baby girl. Lucy Grace Hoffman, who is now 7 months old, that just stole my heart. And not only that, but for this podcast, we've been able to grow the downloads by over 13,000 over the past 2 years. And 48 states have listened to this podcast inside the United States. Every state besides South Dakota or Michigan. I guess they just don't like the sound of my voice or the guest voice, or maybe there's just not a lot of veterans there. Who knows? Maybe they just don't listen to podcasts. Who knows? But we won't hold it against South Dakota or Michigan. But the three big states, shout out for tuning in on a weekly or bi-weekly basis over the past 2 years is California, Texas, and Virginia. Virginia is definitely the outlier. There are a lot of people listening from Virginia. So if you are listening right now from Virginia, hey, appreciate you. Continue to share the word. If you're in Texas, thank you for listening and continue to share the word. If you're in California, continue to share the word. Spread this like wildfire. We're all about word of mouth, because as we know, military people, we like to share shit. We like to share shit that we like. And if we're just seeing it from a non-veteran standpoint or perspective, we don't always buy in very quickly. So make sure that you go out there and share it with your network. And we please and thank you. So what do I want you to get at the end of this episode? Well, I'm going to promote the top 5 episodes of the last 100, right? Some of the most listened to episodes of the previous 100. And I'm also going to share what I've learned about the veteran community and also about podcasting in general from the last 100 episodes that we've been able to do. And hopefully you get some freaking value at the end of this. That's my goal, or at least more content to go listen to from other subject matter experts that have come in here and completely blown this podcast through the roof, and the numbers are showing it based on the volume of listeners listening to their episodes. So the first top episode is going to be episode 121, Diversity, Unity, and Being Treated as an Original, with U.S. Army combat veteran and author, Speaker Cornelius Maxwell. This man absolutely blows it away. And just speaking from my perspective, as I clear my throat, is, being a white male in the United States with this whole racism stuff going on, coming from a military background where we're very diverse and we don't really see colors. All we do is see rank and uniforms, right? It was cool to hear Cornelius Maxwell's perspective as a black male in the face of racism. And for me to give up my beliefs, my thoughts about it, and not, trying not to be tone deaf around what the African American race is really dealing with and in the United States and beyond. It was pretty incredible to learn, and I encourage you to go learn more about it yourself. Next top episode would be 134. It says, Knowing What Drives Your Business Growth, with Navy veteran and CFO for Vets founder, Scott Chesson. Okay. This episode has been the most listened to episode of the entire podcast of the full 200. And it's still increasing by a high value month over month. And Scott does a great job as far as helping you identify, knowing those numbers that are actually having your business grow, right? A lot of us may focus on Facebook likes or vanity metrics that don't really impact the bottom line of your company. He not only breaks it down by different business models to different industries, so you can be clear on what are those impactful numbers that are driving the company forward, not from a social status update standpoint, but the bottom line of your company. What is improving your revenue month over month so you can show your shareholders, your stakeholders growth and more opportunity moving in the future of the company. So huge episode. Big shout out to Scott Chesson from CFO for Vets. Definitely a great episode. Encourage you to go check that out. Ambitious Vet. The next top 5 episode over the past 100 episodes is going to be 139. It's called Connecting Healthcare and Social Care Inside of Local Communities with Army veteran Taylor Justice. And oh my God, Ambitious Vet, if you're someone that is a super ambitious, just business owner, startup founder who has ambitions to be the next Google or, Facebook. What I mean by that is a unicorn company that is valued at a valuation more than $1.6 billion. Go and check out this episode. What they have been able to do at that startup, led by a founder. I think he may be a co-founder, actually, Taylor Justice, who's an Army vet. It's super inspiring, and you're going to be able to learn and dive into his head on how he thinks, leveraging military philosophy into building a unicorn valued company as a startup. So definitely hope that you go check out episode 139 with Taylor Justice. The next top 5 episode over the past 100 episodes is going to be episode 147, leveraging the veteran business outreach centers to start, grow, and sell your business with Amy Amoroso. Amy and I have continued to become friends throughout the years of not only starting this podcast, but different initiatives within the veteran community. And she absolutely knocks it out of the park. Did not know that the Veteran Business Outreach Centers, which I think they're at 23 as I'm talking right now, of August 31st, 2022, 23 locations funded through the SBA, how much they're actually doing for veterans out there that are trying to figure out business 101 type stuff as far as business entity, legality, all this stuff that we don't necessarily put value on until it's too late, including a business plan, right? And knowing how to pivot a business plan. So just incredible resource. Go listen to that episode and figure out how to plug into your local Veteran Business Outreach Center near you. The next top 5 episode over the past 100 episodes is going to be episode 149. And it's called Life's Real Currency with retired Air Force Major Brenda Sanchez. Incredible episode. I didn't know what to expect. I jumped on her podcast before she came on this podcast, and we went live on Facebook, had an incredible conversation. And, sometimes you have the stigma of people that are doing multi-level marketing companies. And I got to tell you, it reminded me why me transitioning from the Marine Corps back in 2012, getting out, I joined an MLM company immediately and actually was in another one, a different one rather, when I first got out. And just how it accelerated my relationship building skills, my communication skills, and how to build and nurture relationships. And she does a great job of talking about life's real currency and how you can leverage that in your post-military life. She also dives into topics like overcoming broken relationships, right? I don't know about you, but I have tons of those. Tons of broken relationships that have led me to feeling lonely, isolated, and at times depressed, right? And I know I'm not alone with that. So what would it be like if you were able to consume some content that helped you learn how to overcome these broken relationships? She does an incredible job on how to go and rekindle and, just really heal previous relationships in your life so you can continue to build that social support around your post-military life, which is super important. So to summarize Ambitious Vet, the top 5 episodes, most listened to episodes is how we rated these top 5 episodes over the past 100 is episode 121, episode 134, episode 139, episode 147, and episode 149. I'll have those all in the show notes below. I also feel like I'm a bingo caller. So if you won bingo, just email me. We'll figure out something to send you. Shifting gears here, one thing I've learned about the veteran community and about podcasting in the past 100 episodes, right, is we'll start with the veteran community, is through just a lot of different conversations, 100 different new episodes, meaning new conversations with high-level subject matter experts that are veterans, to attending probably at least 4 to 5 conferences targeting either active duty military members or veterans over the past 2 years. I have learned a lot. But when I sit back and I'm thinking, what the hell would be the number one thing? What I thought about was this, is I've learned that us as veterans, we have all the weapon systems to be successful in life post-military, but we lack the ability to slow down and discover what really matters in our life, right? So I want you just to sit with that a little bit, right? Like, we have everything. Like, think about when you were in the military, you were trained to learn how to survive, right? But then you look at the veteran population as a whole. When we get out, the population is not surviving. And we forget about those simple skills, those soft skills that help us survive. Only you know why you would potentially be struggling with that. I have my own assumptions on, how I don't remind myself of the weapon systems and, not being able to slow down and figure out what it is that I really need to be focusing on. But here are some cool things that we're currently doing with the Ambitious Vet Network that's helping you at least learn the skill of slowing down to even see those things so you can get ahead of potential landmines that may get in your way and have you dive into, a place you don't want to go, a hole. It might be depression. It might be job loss. It might be isolation. It might be loneliness. Who knows what it is for you, right? So here are going to be the 5 things that we're focusing on inside the Ambitious Vet platform. And if you haven't gone and applied, I encourage you to do so. One is habits and routines, right? Focusing on those on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Are they aligned with your purpose? Second, personal planning and strategy, right? Learning how to personally plan and build a personal strategy around your life and not rely on systematic support, right? Being more proactive. Second is self-management and reflection, right? Really being able to slow down, tune into yourself, and reflect on what matters to you and how you can improve. The next thing is relationships. Learning how to build social support systems, and also networking in an effectively impactful way. The last one is self-awareness and reflection. Being able to dive in and know who you are, what you want, and how you're going to execute on it, right? So those are the 5 things that we are actively looking to improve within the Ambitious Vet platform. And I encourage you to go and apply to join. Our process with that is you come in and apply on the website. You verify your military service and why you want to join. From there, we give you a link to start a 14-day free trial. From there, you get a self-assessment to be able to assess yourself in these 5 different areas. And from there, we're connecting you with connections and courses and live virtual events so you can start, seeing a tangible increase in some of these areas that you may feel weak on. I mean, looking at these things, there's at least 2 or 3 that I'm still weak on. That these subject matter experts that we're going to be bringing inside of the platform, courses that we're going to be designing, I'm going to be learning as we're doing this as well. And I'm hoping that you listening to this, that you're a veteran that is interested in personal development, but also interested in growing and advancing with other veterans beside you. So I'll post a link inside the show notes to go ahead and apply for the platform. I encourage you to do that. The next thing, what have I learned about podcasting? So for those of you guys that are veteran podcasters, that just, are just like, man, consistency, podcasting sucks. It does suck, because it's a lot of delayed gratification with it. And you don't, some days and weeks, you don't even know if anybody's listening. And unfortunately, that is the suck. You want to talk about embracing the suck? That is the suck of podcasting. But I can tell you what I've learned over the past 2 years, of these next 100 episodes that we've done, is that podcasting, it is great to reach veterans like yourself that are listening to this episode right now. But also, it's pretty powerful to actually have guests coming in as well and actually knowing how to create results and help that guest win even more than the episode and the brand awareness that you're providing them with the actual episode itself. So what do I mean by that is when you're podcasting, don't undervalue the guest. So many times when I was at the very beginning of podcasting, I'd always be in this inferiority complex of like, oh my God, did I do it right to the guests? As long as they're happy, then good. I'm going to jump off here, do post-production, and get it out, right? And I wasn't realizing that like I was giving them huge media and brand awareness. And so for some of you, this may be common sense. You may be like, Chris, hey, like I figured that shit out a long time ago. But I'm a Marine. I move slow mentally sometimes, so forgive me. But I actually started seeing every guest that came onto the show as an opportunity to forward both my mission and their mission, not only through the podcast, but this was the first win that I was giving them. What's the next win, right? And making sure I'm planting that seed and having a clear ask at the end of the recording around what we need. And usually I use a framework of like what could impact the bottom line of what we're doing, potential guests that I'm looking for through their network, or our general introductions to people that I may be looking for, like advisors for our board, or someone that I think may be a B2B relationship, or a potential investor, or someone that could help be our next customer or subject matter expert inside of our platform to lead a course, right? So being really clear about my ask and start having them start thinking about it right there. And then if they do say that, hey, yes, I know someone, I actually know this guy right here, like, all right, man, thank you. By when can you actually send me that introduction? Once they give you their word on by when they're going to do whatever they say they're going to do, hold them accountable to that, right? And then from there, continue to figure out win-wins on a monthly basis with these guests that are coming on, and that's how you start building long-term relationships. It's all compound interest, right? So the key to that is at the end of the recording, don't be in a mindset of like, oh my gosh, thank God I didn't fuck this one up, which is easy to go to. But actually get to a headspace of like, okay, got it. Just gave them a win. This is going to reach hundreds of veterans, if not thousands. What's the next win that I can provide for them and my mission? If they're a good guest and if they're as credible as you think they are with them coming on your podcast, they're going to openly be like, what can I do for you? And as soon as they ask that, or even if they don't ask that, like, this is what we're looking for. By when can you potentially provide this? Can you help out with this? Have your ask ready. I know I sounded like I said ass. Ask. It's probably my St. Louis accent. But have your ask ready to make sure that you're continuing to move forward and feel like you're moving forward in the right direction. Not only from a listener standpoint, that's good, but how can you build B2B relationships and have those relationships? Because hell, you don't know. You don't know in the next couple of years, your podcast that you're trying to start, you may quit. And then you have these relationships that you've built, that you have proven competency and credibility with, that you can create more opportunities with from a personal and professional standpoint. So call me crazy, but there is a great B2B strategy with podcasting as well. And don't discredit that. All right. So with that being said, what you just listened to, Ambitious Vet, is the 200th 200th episode, whatever you want to call it, roundup, I guess, of the past 2 years of the top 5 episodes, top 5 most listened to episodes over the past 2 years. And then also what I've learned from the veteran community, and also just the podcast, just doing this podcasting stuff for the past 100 episodes over the past 2 years. So hope that you found value from this. I will put all these episodes inside the show notes below. And also a website link to go ahead and check out more about the platform. I encourage you to get in there. If you're a veteran looking to be equipped to be unstoppable in the trenches of life post-military with other like-minded vets. Other than that, if you have any questions, any comments, anything, make sure that you email me. You can contact me through our website as well. And with that being said, Ambitious Vet, hold the vision and trust the process. Take care.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.